Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a seriously mind-altering trip through deep time. We are diving into the epic 1.5 billion year history of fungi. We're going to trace their unbelievable path from prehistoric giants that literally towered over the landscape to their central role in ancient spiritual rituals, all the way to the modern medical miracles that are saving millions of lives as we speak. If you thought mushrooms were just, a pizza topping, well, prepare to have your perspective completely flipped upside down.
All right, let's jump right in with a question that's going to mess with your sense of history. I want you to picture a barren, prehistoric Earth. We're talking over 400 million years ago here. If you walked across the land back then, you wouldn't find a single forest, no trees, zero. Instead, the landscape was completely dominated by massive alien-looking towers standing up to 8 meters, or about 26 feet tall, and a full meter wide. So, what were these absolute giants?
Looking at the deep time timeline, DNA analysis reveals that a staggering 1.5 billion years ago, the ancestral lineage of fungi actually split from other complex cellular organisms. Fast forward a bit to about 635 million years ago, and these early, mostly aquatic fungi finally made the leap onto land. By the Cambrian period, they were spreading like wildfire. But it was right between 420 and 350 million years ago that the ultimate kings of the fungal world, known as prototaxites, truly reigned supreme.
Now, prototaxites left behind these colossal fossils that were first discovered way back in 1859. And for over a century, scientists were absolutely stumped. I mean, they debated this relentlessly. Were they bizarre, ancient trees? Were they just gargantuan lichens? It actually wasn't until a groundbreaking study in 2007 that scientists finally put the whole debate to rest. They confirmed that these towering, prehistoric pillars were in fact colossal early fungi.
Just think about the sheer scale of that contrast for a second. During the era when Prototaxis thrived, terrestrial animals simply didn't exist yet. The invertebrates were tiny, and the tallest plant life on Earth barely a few meters high. So in this really empty, low-to-the-ground landscape, these 8-meter-tall fungal spires completely dwarfed everything else around them. They were, without a doubt, the skyscrapers of the ancient world.
Moving on to our next section, Ice Age Survival Kits. Let's fast forward dramatically to a human scale and look at the life-or-death relationship between early humans and fungi. Back in 1991, hikers in an alpine glacier stumbled upon the frozen, naturally mummified body of Ötzi the Iceman, who lived around 3300 BCE. And get this, what did he carry with him into the freezing mountains? A highly specific, incredibly intentional fungal toolkit. He had Fomes fomentarius, a tinder fungus that acts as the perfect insulation, letting him safely carry live, warm coals for hours to start a fire anywhere. He also carried the birch polypore. Modern science actually shows this mushroom has powerful antibacterial properties, and Ötzi almost certainly used it as a primitive, life-saving medicine to fight off the deadly intestinal parasites that were wreaking havoc on his stomach.
Next up, omens, gods, and ancient rituals.
As civilizations got more complex, our relationship with fungi totally shifted. It went from just day-to-day physical survival right into profound spiritual reverence. Over in ancient Mesoamerica, fungi took on this incredibly sacred role. Aztec spiritual leaders consumed hallucinogenic psilocybe mushrooms in their ceremonies. They famously called them tiononacat, which literally translates to the flesh of the gods. They fully believed that eating these fungi let them bypass ordinary reality and speak directly to the divine. And honestly, cave paintings in Europe and North Africa going back 9,000 years suggest this spiritual connection is incredibly ancient.
Meanwhile, halfway across the globe in ancient Mesopotamia, fungi were seen as direct messages from the cosmos. Seriously, if you found spontaneous fungal growth on your living room wall, it wasn't a cleaning chore, it was a cosmic event. According to the famous ancient omen texts, they would meticulously track exactly where the fungus grew, north, south, east, or west. Based on that, they'd predict the entire household's fate, everything from long life to total loss of wealth or even death. And if the omen was bad, you couldn't just scrub it off. You had to perform complex protective magic to spiritually cleanse the home and ward off the evil.
Which leads us nicely into early medicine and moldy bread.
It is honestly amazing how these hyper-focused ancient observations eventually morphed from spiritual omens into the bedrock of modern medicine. Way before the Greek physician Hippocrates came around, you had Imhotep in ancient Egypt right around 2900 BCE. He was an advisor to King Djoser, and he noticed that the green mold growing on old bread could actually cure infections when applied to the sick. Because of this brilliant early use of what we now know are primitive antibiotics, a lot of historians consider Imhotep to be the true father of modern medicine. The Egyptians actually deified him as a god of healing after he died.
And this wasn't just an isolated Egyptian thing. For centuries, Anatolian nomads were doing something incredibly similar, using the green mold found on white cheese as a completely reliable wound treatment. Whether they knew it or not, these cultures were harnessing a specific green mold fungus to fight off deadly bacteria using ancient fungal warfare. And this was thousands of years before the concept of bacteria even existed.
Bringing us to our final section, penicillin and modern science.
Let's zoom right into the modern laboratory. The year is 1927. This is the exact moment when Scottish researcher Alexander Fleming officially discovered penicillin, isolating it from, you guessed it, that very same simple green mold our ancestors had been using for millennia. This was a massive game changer. It turned ancestral knowledge into a mass-producible drug, completely revolutionizing how we fight bacterial infections and saving just an unbelievable number of lives.
Today, science is completely backing up that ancient wisdom. We are isolating absolute powerhouses from modern fungi. Take cordyceps, used forever in Asian medicine, and now proven to drastically improve athletic endurance and heart health. Then there's chaga, growing on Siberian birch trees, which boasts heavily researched anti-cancer properties. And the common turkey tail mushroom? It's being used right now to support immune systems during cancer treatments. Fungi are, quite literally, nature's ultimate pharmacy.
Now, the giant prehistoric fungal towers might be gone, but fungi are still the undisputed heavyweights of planet Earth. Get this, the single largest living organism on Earth right now isn't a blue whale. It's not a redwood. It is a massive 2,200-acre fungal network quietly living right beneath the soil in the forests of eastern Oregon. So, knowing all this, their 1.5 billion-year history, how they kept us alive in the Ice Age, connected ancient empires to the gods, and continue to drive modern medicine, how are you going to look at the natural world? The next time you're out walking through a forest, I want you to ask yourself, what hidden ancient networks are actively shaping the world right beneath your feet? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep questioning the world around you.